I believe we're live.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the third Instagram Live golf session. But today, as you can see, we're sitting inside. We actually have some really bad weather here in Florida. We got wind, we got rain, and we didn't want to take the chance to mess it up again with technical issues like sound, etc. So we thought, why don't we just talk a little bit about the mental aspect of the game? Because as you know, the mental aspect of the game is equally as important as the technical aspect and the physical part. So let's just talk a little bit about that today. And of course, we would love to welcome everybody from wherever you are. We thank you for taking a little break in your busy day, and hopefully some of these points will help your game.
We got some, excuse me, I was just going to shout out some people as they pop up here. Jay Crow, Dame Puffin,
Hey guys.
Michelle Holmes, Dame Puffin Canada, Michelle Holmes Golf, yes.
All the way from Canada.
Peter Johander, Angelina Kim.
Hello, thank you for joining, and please send in your questions because to sit here and talk for 15-20 minutes is not that easy. As you know, speaking and being in front of a camera has not always been my strong suit. But when we talk about golf, when we talk about mental training...
Sorry, a few more. J. Crow Pro, Kate Robe, Jack Gilchrist, hi Jack, Lauren Finley Golf, Golf Pass, Ryan Pars,
hey guys,
Ava Jane, Kate Cortell 08.
All right, thank you everybody for joining
Tina Melissa,
us.
Selfie Killer, Patrick Yerban, E. Kank, Ava Jane again. All right.
Thank you so much.
Sorry if we missed you.
Joining. Thank you. We just want to make sure everybody gets a little mention because we appreciate you taking the time to join us on this Friday. Again, going back to mental training, and the question you can ask yourself: what is mental training? Why is that so important? And the other question is, how many people practice mental training? Do you practice mental training? Well, I do, or maybe not so much now, but I have done it before because I really think it's a very, very big part of golf. And if you don't believe me, then why don't we just give you an example? What is it like to hit some great shots on the driving range, and then you walk 50 yards to the first tee and something happens? You stand there, it's your turn to hit, and all of a sudden you have butterflies in your hands, or in your belly, I should say, sweaty palms, etc., when nerves kick in. That's the part of the mental aspect that we're talking about. It's all about confidence. We'll be talking about focusing. We'll be talking about just how to deal with maybe anxiety. Attitude is certainly really important. And visualization, to visualize your shots before you hit them. And as you know, the difference from a good athlete and an elite athlete is a lot of times how you manage tough situations, how you bounce back, how you take a not so great performance and turn it into a great performance, how you get back on track, how you start focusing again. We all know what it's like to lose your concentration on the golf course. How do you get back on that track? How do you manage concentration? So these are all things that I think is really important when we talk about mental training. And maybe we can talk a little bit about what it's like to be in the zone. I don't know if you've ever been in the zone on the golf course, but I've been lucky to be in the zone a few times. And being in the zone is just when things really feel like they're going your way. Things are smooth, you're really not in between clubs, you see the line on the putting green, you stand there on the tee and you have a driver in your hand, you feel really confident. Just being in the zone, playing golf when it feels easy, when the decisions you make are just spot on. So that's another part of the mental training, and I really believe that if you practice these, just like anything, you gotta practice repetition over and over again. You get used to it to build up that mental strength that you need when you go out there on the golf course. And I believe that you can create that atmosphere in your mind and being more consistent on a daily basis. I really believe so. So let's talk a little bit about what does it take, I think, to be an elite athlete from a mental standpoint. Well, number one, how about attitude? Attitude is really important. The way you approach things. And attitude is a choice. You can choose to be happy. You can choose to be grumpy, so that's a choice. You can also have an attitude by learning from your mistakes, meaning being happy when you need to be, and really feel like you have a good body language. So learning from mistakes and knowing that you're happy and have a great attitude. So that's number one. I think, having a motivation, being motivated. What motivates you in what you do? It's not just about golf, it's about golf, but it's about life and what you do, your work, being at home, what motivates you. Maybe the rewards of playing well, maybe the rewards of working hard and being promoted, a little more better title, maybe a bigger office, or in golf, playing better and winning golf tournaments. So a lot of things that motivates you, so the rewards, but also what it feels like to be out there and performing well. So motivation is another one. I think we should talk a little bit about how elite athletes handle anxiety. A lot of players get a little nervous, they stand on the first tee and they feel, we talked about some butterflies in your stomach, and again, it's okay to be nervous, it's okay to have a little anxiety. I think sometimes when you have anxiety, it actually makes you focus a little better. So just being, spot on and being in that situation makes you concentrate a little bit more.
So how do you handle it? You said handle the pressure, handle the nerves. How do you handle that, and how do you practice that?
Well, first of all, I think it's important to practice real life situations. I'm not talking about picking up a book and just start reading chapter after chapter. I think you need to be in the situation. So creating more tournament-like situations, going out there, doesn't have to be 18 holes, but go out there and focus on one hole at a time. It's okay to start making notes of how you feel and see what are your reactions. What happens when I'm nervous? What happens when I'm, worried about not being prepared? So everything is in the preparation. You're preparing for your next performance. So how do you practice, just attitude, which is what I talked about, one of the things I mentioned. Well, catch yourself when you start thinking about, oh, I can't hit 7-iron, oh, I've never hit a good shot on this hole, or, oh, I hate long putts, I just don't have good feel. Stop yourself when you have those, the self-talk. Self-talk is really important. What do you say to yourself? Same thing, try to be positive. So when it comes to attitude, try to always stay positive, and if you feel like you're having negative thoughts, try to stop yourself and say, okay, enough. Let's look at the positive side. At least I'm on the green. I might have a long putt, but at least I'm on the green. So those are a few things you can think about to help you dealing with nerves. Another thing I think is important is just maintaining concentration. I'm sure many of you have played a round of golf and you're doing quite well, and then you get to maybe the 11th hole and you're starting to lose concentration. That's when it's really important to pick up when you feel like you're starting to have a little low. Again, it goes actually back to making sure you have something to drink on the course, maybe a little snack on the course, but it's time to stay in the moment. A lot of us have a tendency to start maybe thinking about future holes, or maybe you even start thinking about previous holes. Something, why did I do that on number 7? It's like, well, you're 4 holes later, there's really no need to start thinking back of what you did. It's living in the moment and keeping that concentration level. And it's not always that easy. It's not just, wake up one morning and you can keep your concentration level for 18 holes or maybe 4 to 5 hours, depending on how long it takes for you to play. So it's like anything, just like you practice your golf swing, you got to practice the mental aspect of the game, repetition over and over again. So those are, some of the things I think is important. Another thing that's really, when we're talking about elite athletes and high performance, because that's really what it is when you do mental training, it's taking that level from an athlete and taking it to a different level by mentally strong, by recovering from bad shots, by recovering from bad mistakes, learning and moving forward. Like how tough are you when things don't go your way? And that's really what it is. And we mentioned anxiety, but also how is your, your interactions with other people. I think it's really important to understand that you need to respect yourself, but you also need to respect coaches and parents and instructors, and having that communication level with them on a consistent basis. So I think that's really important too. And one of the things that I before I know Mike has another question, or maybe you guys have one, is goal setting and the commitment to goal setting. Many of you might have heard that before, but really, what is it? Well, it's part of the mental training, is learning how to set goals. When you set a goal, think of it as a roadmap of where am I going? Setting up destinations on your journey. It's a lot easier to have stops along the way than just throwing goals out there that they're not realistic. They're unmanageable, and also put a time limit on it. Like, say, okay, I'm going to do this, but you need to do this by the end of the day, or maybe in a month, or maybe by the end of this year. This is what I want to achieve. Because if you really don't have a timeline on something, it doesn't become as, it's just more of a dream. So learning how to set a goal and learn how to commit to those goals are really important. So you had a question, Mike?
Yep, from J. Crow for Pro. When you hit bad shot after bad shot, how do you dig yourself out of the hole and not have it mess up your whole round? I know you didn't deal with that often, but for us choppers.
Well, we do. I've hit plenty of bad shots in my career. I would say that the key, again, is to how do you bounce back? How do you bounce back from bad shots, from making mistakes? I think the biggest mistake you make is to continue and think about those and have them pull you down. What it does is it pulls you down from an attitude standpoint, it pulls you down from an energy standpoint, and a lot of times when we're down, our body language are just, we're kind of hanging, we're sagging like this, and you don't have that bright looking up at the sky self-talk situation. So that's one of the things that you can do, is have a little self-talk with you. Talk to yourself in a nice manner. Don't cuss yourself out. Just say, okay, I've hit this, this was on the 7th hole. I'm moving on. I'm on number 8. This is my favorite hole. Oh, I love this. I love hitting, pitching wedges, or this is just, I made birdie on this hole in the past. Find all those positive, memories that you have, and try to go back to that. And if you keep hitting bad shots, then go back to basics. Go back to, just hitting the clubs that you like, aim in the middle of the fairway, don't take chances. We all have those days. There's no doubt. We all have those days where things just don't go our way. A good example is when you drive in a car and you hit a red light every single time, and you probably don't know why. What's the difference from the previous day when you hit some green lights? Actually, I've not been driving for about 6 weeks, so who knows what kind of situation we will have here. It's almost like it's Groundhog Day here. So you really have to get into that positive frame of mind of just, okay, I can do it, I can change it, I'm in control of my swing, I'm in control of my emotions. So good luck, and again, it might take a little time, but the more you practice it, the better you will get.
Do you meditate at all?
I believe in meditation. I really don't sit down officially and do mantras and so forth, but what I do is I try to gather myself and take some big breaths and just try to think about positive moments or situations I've been in that can help me calm myself down, give myself this a little smile on my face and warm my heart. But as far as meditation goes, I think it's great. I actually wish I did it more to get your mind to be a little bit more restful and at peace. I feel like I have a tendency to go. I'm a little bit of a type A personality with kids and husband at home, but good for you. Keep going. It's only going to help you.
How should juniors practice the mental side of the game? Is it different for kids, or is it the same as teenagers and adults?
Well, I think just mental training is very similar. It's about having a good attitude. Maybe we'll be using some different words and language to explain what it means. But I think we all need to learn and understand that we all hit good shots, we all hit bad shots, and it's all about, forgetting bad shots and remember the good ones and move on. And that's the thing is in golf, we play a lot of times more than one hole. A lot of times we play 18 holes. So you need to learn to stay in the moment. So if you're talking to your child, try to teach them this is the most important shot that you're going to hit now, the now shot. It's not what you hit an hour ago, it's not what you're going to hit in 30 minutes, it's this shot right now. So teach your child the importance of living in the moment, and what you're doing now is what really counts, and not later and not before.
Very good. Do you ever listen to music to help change your mood?
Oh, I love music, and I think music is really could be a mood booster for sure. It can also be the other way around. And you know, when you want to have some energy, you know, get a little pop, play some pop, you know, some hits, and get the energy flowing. But if you feel like you're a little, you know, your energy level is too high, you want to slow down. There's nothing wrong with turning on a little spa music, a little jazz maybe to calm you down. And I used to practice quite a bit with music, you know, in my ears, just trying to find the rhythm and also not be distracted with everything around me, the atmosphere. So yeah, music is a great way to find the right mode, and especially in the morning, there's nothing better with some coffee music while you're having your coffee. Great start to the day.
Some more people join. Your buddy Maria. Hi, Maria.
Hello, Maria.
Casey and Taylor, of course.
Hello, guys.
Gio Fernandez, Map Point 2019, NH Golfer Gal, CM Levine, the Richard Fitz, Dame Puffin, Danny Adams, Ariel Tervizian, Frida Chenault, is that how you say?
Yeah, hey, Frida.
And Kay Forda. Okay, another question.
Yes, what do we got?
If you're having a career day like you did when you shot 59, how do you keep grounded? It's hard to be playing amazing and just keep rallied. How did you stay on track?
Yeah, no, I love that question. It's actually, I was going to talk about that, so thank you for reminding me about that day. It was March 16, 2001. Of course, I remember. It was a Friday. It was the second day of, it was called the Standard Register Paint in Phoenix, Arizona. I actually really didn't have a great warm-up. I was rushing. I had gotten stuck in traffic and I was late for my warm-up. So I was rushing on the range, hitting it faster than normal, so my tempo was off. But once I got on the course, I felt, okay, let's just play some golf. Well, I started with 4 birdies. And if you played Moon Valley, maybe some of you have, I started on the back 9, so it's par 5, a little dogleg is the first hole. But after 4 birdies, I thought, wow, you know, this could be a good day. I turned to my caddy, Terry McNamara, and I said to Terry, how many birdies in a row have you seen before? And he said he had seen 4, and I said, well, I know I can do 6 birdies because I've done that before. So I ended up birdieing number 5, and ended up birdieing number 6, number 7, and number 8. And now you can imagine that I was quite nervous. I was trying to stay positive, all the things I told you earlier. I tried to stay in the moment. I tried to stick to my strategy, but when I look at my scorecard, I circled the birdies, so I saw 8 birdies. So I was a little bit like, okay, let's calm down. So I got to the 9th tee, and I remember turning to my caddy, Terry, and I said, hey, Terry, I just need to make par. I'm so nervous, I just need to, you know, calm this thing down. He said, okay. So I hit the fairway, I hit the green, I have 2 putts. It's a par 4, and I birdied, so I parred that 9th hole. And then I walked to my 10th hole, which was the first hole, and I turned to my caddy and said, you know, I'm ready for some more birdies. And I was. All of a sudden, I was at peace again. I was calm. I was ready. I was collected. And so I made some more birdies. I birdied number 10, 11, 12, and 13. So now I'm 12 under after 13. So I have 12 circles on my card. And again, as you know, when you start thinking in golf and when you start wondering what's going to happen, I mean, I was, you know, calculating my score, and I was very familiar with that, you know, no other female had broken 60 in the past. So I tried again, gather my thoughts. I parred 14 and 15 and 16, and then I birdied 17. It's a par 5. And then I came down to the last hole, and now I'm 13 under par. So I'm very familiar with, you know, what's happening. And what was funny enough, also I should mention, I played with my sister Charlotta and Meg Mallon. And early in the round we had you know, been chatting around, but there was no chatting around going here. It was just being very, very focused on what I had to do. And I think they just wanted to stay out of my way, which is really what I was trying to stay out of my own way. I hit a forward off the tee in the middle of the fairway, and the adrenaline was pumping like you wouldn't believe. I was just super, super nervous, and you know, when the adrenaline was pumping, I hit the ball a little further. So So I remember standing there discussing with Terry what club to hit, and he said, just hit it on the green. And I said, well, I'm going to hit it at the flag. That's what I've been doing all day. So I grabbed my 48 degree and hit it to about 8-9 feet and walked up to the green, and you can just imagine the emotions that went through. But I try to focus on that particular shot and just pick a line and trust it, and it just kind of rolled a little bit on the side. And then I had a 3-footer, one of those 3-footers that just, the more you look at them, it becomes longer and longer and longer. And I marked it, and I was just trying to be positive. I was trying to tell myself that this is just another 3-footer, and you made about 1 million 3-footers in your life, and the ball doesn't know the difference. So I stood up to the ball and decided to trust my line and trust myself, and boom, what can I say? Great day. Thank you.
And I would like to add that there have not been many, I'm sure some people could look it up, but putts for 58 on a par 72 in an official round. I think it's so important, par 72, 59, in my opinion. But anyway.
But thank you. And if I can just point out too, because Mike's dad, Jerry McGee, he played with Al Geiberger when he was the first man to shoot 59, and I played with my sister. So if anybody wants to shoot 59, it happens at the McGee Sorensen residence.
Okay, question from Ava Jane, who, by the way, is Mark and Lisa Lai's daughter. So they say hi and we say hello back. When she's playing a tournament, she's trying to keep track of the other players and their score. How can I keep focus on myself and not worry about the people playing with me? And then another one was, how do you deal with the negativity of other players that you're playing with?
Yeah,
so two different questions.
Yeah, no, it's two different questions, but I think they're very similar because, yes, it's very easy to get influenced by your playing partners, whether they're playing well, bad, slow, or like you say, being very negative. I think the key really is, again, to try to focus on your task, on what you have to do. People, like to have routines. When you have a routine, what I call a pre-shot routine, it's something you do every time before you hit. And what that does is it makes you focus on what you have to do, the process, rather than worrying about what's going around you. If you have a playing partner that's very negative, for example, maybe they're very loud, maybe they have bad temperament, or who knows, a lot of people have some funny actions on the golf course. You just have to kind of try not to look at them. Actually, as a matter of fact, sometimes you can learn from them and thank them after the round and say, thank you for showing me how I do not want to behave. That's a very good lesson to learn from others. So again, don't look at them, try not to be influenced by their behaviors, keep to your routines, keep going, try to visualize your shots, and don't have these outside exterior things come into your space. You're in control of your shots, you're in control of your decisions, so don't let other people do it. And I'm not trying to make it sound like it's easy. This takes practice. I mean, everything takes practice and repetition. I remember the first few times I played in front of crowds, I wanted to show the crowd that I could really play, so I was more worried about what they thought rather than focusing on what I had to do. So the best way to do that is to do it one hole at a time. See if you can do it one hole, see if you can do it 2 holes next time, and move up, and eventually I believe you can do it in 8 holes. So stay focused on what you need to do. And that's what we talked about earlier, the mental aspect of the game. How do you stay focused? How do you maintain concentration?
Along that line, Dame Puffin asked, you said your pre-shot routine is 24 seconds per shot. What else do you do as part of your routine?
Well, part of my routine is, I wish I could show you a little bit, but sitting
Oh,
in the
show
chair.
us. Get behind the chair and show us. Come on.
It's all about, standing in your space and looking at, visualizing the shot. And I like to divide my area up into 2 parts. One area is what I call the think box, and this other area where the ball is, I like to call the play box or the execution box. So when you're in the think box, you're allowed to think about your shot. Again, visualizing the shot, and what I mean by visualizing is seeing your 7-iron landing on the green. Maybe even hear it hit the flag and go in, or maybe you hear the claps from the crowd. But seeing it, feeling how solid it is, everything happens in this think box where you decide what club to use. And I like to say I probably spend the 24 seconds, I probably spend 19 seconds here and then 5 seconds in the play box. And the reason why it's only 5 seconds in the play box is because once I get over in the play box, I'm not thinking anymore. I am executing. I am executing the shots, swinging, doing, putting, driving, whatever you are. And if you're not, if you don't feel comfortable with your decision, you go back in your think box and you start thinking again. But I like to do that all the time. And again, the reason why I have that routine is so I can handle nerves, because I get nervous like everybody else. But if I focus on the process, then I can do this more over and over again, and it go back to the consistency we talk about, creating an atmosphere where you feel really comfortable in your head. Create a zone where you can keep doing it and keep doing it. Okay?
Very good. I remember, yes, sorry. Kai, I remember at the academy would have players run up the little hill by the putting green or do jumping jacks or something to get their heart pumping, and then have them get over a 4-foot putt and try to calm themselves. Is that something you ever did personally?
I mean, I've seen people do it. I when I get nervous, I my heart will pump anyway. But it's all these different drills. I think the best thing you can do to yourself is look in the mirror and say, okay, what are my weaknesses? Where do I need to spend time? What hurts me? Is it when I'm super nervous? Is it when I'm playing a new golf course? And start figuring out where do you need to spend time. I wanted to spend time on those crucial shots. The tournament-like situations where you're coming down the stretch, the last hole at the U.S. Open. I know you can't necessarily have that atmosphere, but you can play a hole and imagining that you have crowds, imagining that you have these people watching, and you only have one shot. And the more you can do it, you got to create those live situations so that next time you get there, it's almost like, okay, I've been there, I know how to handle it.
Very good. Good question from Kelly Young. How do you ground yourself and not rush your routine when rules officials give a pace of play warning, especially when you're not the slow one in the group?
Yes, and that I know, Kelly, I know how you feel. Again, if you have a routine, time it. I recommend you have a routine of 20 seconds to about 35 seconds. If you have a routine within that time frame, you're going to be fine at any time. And if you stick to it, you don't have to worry. But yes, I've been there where you rush it and then you hit a bad shot and then you're mad and it just gets worse and worse. So yes, it's important to have that routine and trust that your routine is enough. And you know that. The rules officials know you're allowed to take 30 to 35 seconds per shot. And even if you're the first person to hit off the tee, you even have more seconds than that. So trust yourself, but then, if you feel uncomfortable, walk faster between the shots, and then hopefully your group will catch up. But it's amazing. The people that are slow, they really don't know they're slow. And it's always the people that are fast that feel like they are, they have to rush now. So yeah, try to hang in there and trust yourself.
How do you, back to the playing people in your group, how do you not pay attention to them? How do you not, if they're playing really well, how do you not compare yourself to them? Especially if it's just the two of you kind of coming down the stretch. Mm-hmm. Obviously, match play, you got to worry about them, but in a stroke play event.
The biggest mistake you can make is to compare. Please don't compare, and this is in things in life too. Don't compare with others. There's only one you, so just do your best. Try to play at your highest level. Try to give your best. Try to go out there and focus and do what you can. You should not be influenced by others. But having said that, I enjoyed playing with players that played well because I saw putts go in. I saw drives be in the fairway. I saw birdies. I mean, you want to have that nice image, that nice, just the thought of, wow, great shots is possible. So for me, I felt like good players, they fed me the energy. They fed me positive reinforcements that it's possible. So, but please don't compare your game to others. Go out there, do your best, and just focus. And that's all you can do. The best thing you can do for yourself is to give yourself 100%. You can't do more than that.
Do you have a favorite shot you've hit in your life?
My favorite shot, I've hit some good ones, but what comes to my mind is 2003, my tee shot at Bank of America, Colonial. I was so nervous, and I was just, I didn't even know if I could keep the ball on the tee. And that's when I really relied on my routine My caddy Terry told me afterwards that I took about 23.5 seconds on that routine. So I stayed to my routine, and I hit one of the best tee shots I've ever hit. It was, again, the forward. I hit it over 270 yards. I was so pumped. I had so much adrenaline, and after that I said, let's just play some golf.
So that with all the other players chirping, the media, everybody had a comment about you playing. And if you guys haven't seen the Golf Channel special, I think it was called Go Annika, from those pins, the green Go Annika buttons they had. It's really amazing, and it really shows the enormity of the time and of the situation and how you dealt with it really, really well. You came out of your shell. How do you not think about what all those players are thinking and talking about, and don't you want to prove them wrong, and don't you want to just, I don't know. How do you deal with that?
Well, I'm not an expert in that, but what I've learned from my own experience is you have goals. Again, going back to goal setting. If you want to achieve certain goals, you have to do certain things, especially when, if you're top of the game, and to stay at number one, sometimes you have to do a few things that have not been done before, and that's really what I did when I played at the Colonial, was to test myself on a total different level. And of course there were some people that had some opinion about that, but I was just very driven. I knew that this was important for me to improve as a player, and I actually thought this would help women's golf. So I try to just stay focused on my task, to keep working hard, which is what I needed to do, and not have the naysayers be in my ear and take my dream away. And I think that's the biggest thing. When people don't have information, when people are scared, when people see something different, the first thing that comes to their mind is, why they're doing this, and all the negativity. And who wants to be around negative people? I think it's really important, especially for young upcoming golfers and professionals, is to have a good team around you with people that are supportive, support your decisions, and believe in you. If you don't have that, if you don't have the trust and the confidence, it's very hard to pivot and do something different in your life. So, stay focused and believe in yourself, and keep following your dreams and your goals, because it's your life we're talking about. We're not talking about other people's life and their accomplishments. It's all about you.
Very good. Trying to look through these questions here on Annika's phone. When you're you've kind of talked about this, but when you're nervous about a shot, really nervous, how do you not mess it up?
How I don't mess it up? Who asked this question?
This is Lauren Finley Golf.
Hello, Lauren. Let me just tell you, everybody hits bad shots. Everybody hits poor shots. I think the key is, when you stand over a shot, is you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your decision and in what you're doing. And again, going back to what we talked about, the think box and the play box, where you make a decision and then you execute. And a lot of people, actually, it sounds funny, but there's so many people that think in the play box and then they play in the think box. Like, they get very confused and they mix it all. Learn how to separate making a decision to executing and hitting a shot. When you stand over that shot to hit, you just got to do it. It's the last minute, the wind picked up, or I see a bunker on the left, I better aim right. Now you're having all these thoughts creeping in your head left and right. You got to stay focused, hit one shot at a time, and if you don't feel comfortable, step out of the play box and refocus, regroup, start over, and once you step over there. And what's the worst thing that can happen? You hit a bad shot. Go find it and hit it again. Golf is just a sport. It's okay. It's all about having fun. And if you trust yourself, if you let loose, take a big breath after your routine. Don't tense up, because when we tense up, we have your forearms get tense, and then you have tension up in your shoulders. It's very hard to swing when there's a lot of tension. Golf is supposed to be fun. So, give that a try. You want to do one more question?
Yeah, I actually have a question. Sorry. You didn't finish what's favorite club in the bag first.
My favorite club?
Yeah. Is it the new Maverick driver?
Of course it is my new Maverick driver. It goes extra long and extra straight. So, well, it depends on which day. Just kidding. I'm like everybody else. Certain days, you putt well. Certain days you hit great at irons, and some days you just drive it well. So But the key I have for you is to work on your weaknesses. And I know that for a fact because I just used to practice with my favorite clubs, which is just the mid irons. I used to practice 8 irons, 7 irons, 9 irons, pitching wedge all day long. And I did not want to hit 3 irons and 4 irons because I didn't hit them as high, I didn't hit them as far, I didn't hit them as straight. So I avoided practicing them. Well, guess what? I didn't get any better. So it came a point where I realized I got to spend time on my weaknesses. And what that did is helped increase my confidence. Next time I played, it's like, whoa, I wanted to hit a 4 iron, I want to hit a 3 iron. And the more I practice, so you just kind of get rid of all the tension. So spend time on your weaknesses because you know that next time you go out, you're going to be like, whoa, this is a fun shot to hit. So don't be afraid, but do it on the driving range, do it on the putting green. Don't necessarily go out on the course because when we play golf on the course, then we play golf. We play from A to B and we have targets in mind and we hit one shot. And I think when you practice, because it's very different, practice golf and playing golf is very different. Practice golf, you might be working on the technique, you're working on the grip, you're working on different things. You're not result oriented. When we go to the course, we are a lot more result oriented. And if you're working on something and you take it out on the course, now you're thinking results, but your mind is still thinking technique. It gets a little confusing. So work on something, practice on the range, and when you're ready, then you go play golf.
Very good. Yeah. My question was going to be, I've never asked you this, when you win 13 times and 12 times and 11 times globally, over several years, how in the world do you not feel pressure when you start your off-season training for the next season? I would feel like there's immense pressure on you right from the get-go to try to do what you've just done.
Well, I didn't in the end, and I would say that that's one of the reasons why I stepped away, is because I felt the pressure before the season had started. How do you set goals when you have achieved all your goals? But before I got there, I was still just so motivated, so excited to play, and I was still trying to get better as a player. So I had clear goals, I had a journey to follow, and I looked forward to it every year. And I wasn't really thinking about results. I was thinking more about just improving as a golfer, whether it was hitting the ball straighter, hitting more fairways, hitting more greens, or have fewer putts, or more up and downs, just trying to improve as a player. But it came to a point where I felt like I could not get any better. I had worked really, really hard and just felt like I had reached my peak. And once I reached my peak, I realized that this is kind of it. I lost my motivation. And the analogy that I always use is I worked very hard to climb my personal Mount Everest. And once I got to the top of that mountain, I realized that it was beautiful and it was great, but then eventually you start to see other mountains, other peaks, and that sparked my interest. So therefore I decided to get down on that mountain and start another journey, which includes certainly the Annika Foundation and Annika Clothing and some other things, and getting married and so forth. So that's why it's so important to go back to where we started this session, is the mental training. You need to be motivated. You need to be excited to go out there and practice and have fun. So I'd like to leave it at that. I'd like to say thank you everybody for taking a break out of your busy days. We're thinking about you guys. Stay safe. We're going to do this next week again, but I think the emphasis next week is going to be on junior golf. We're going to focus on kids, what they can practice, and so forth. So in the meantime, stay safe. Take care.
And we're going to reschedule the short game at some other point. Thank you. Good work, sweetie. Thanks for watching. I need to hit the save button first. Oops, sorry.
We're still here.
Still live.
Okay, Mike is in charge now.
Taylor, will you please text Annika's phone? If I hit end, it says end now, and then I don't know if I can save it.
End it. Or I get out of the seat here.
Yeah, you can get out of the seat too.
Quite comfortable.
Nice toenails, by the way.
Yes,
I was noticing.
Did my toenails and my manicure. So.
Bonus coverage here. Okay, got a text here.
All right, I may be out of sync. Why don't you just push end like everything else?
All right. See you.